The time is 8:14. Welcome back, everyone. The Trump administration can no longer deport immigrants to countries they are not from. That's the ruling, anyway, from a federal judge. That judge said the Department of Homeland Security's policy to deport immigrants to, quote, third countries is unlawful and could put people in danger.
The judge also ruled migrants have the right to a, quote, meaningful notice and a chance to object before being removed to a country other than their homeland.
Joining us again this morning to discuss this, our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes. All right, Khalif, let's start at the beginning, really, before we get into what third country, the level of risk that adds. Let's talk about due process. When it comes to immigration cases, what does the process portion require?
Notice, for sure. That's what the judge said, and I think the Constitution supports that. And notice in an opportunity to be heard. We've been here before with this case, with this exact same judge. They appealed this all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court sided with the Trump administration on the original two. They were emergency bases, but kicked it back to this lower court to have a full-fledged hearing. This judge is saying, listen, I still believe that the Constitution protects these individuals and that you can't remove them without notice, an opportunity to be heard, and that you're attempting to work around and sidestep our Constitution with these vague assurances from third countries and giving folks that don't know the law an opportunity to not be heard. Specifically, he says the policies where migrants were only allowed to object if they affirmatively said they feared the third countries. And this is the key part. Officers were not required to ask. And so they're just saying, if we don't know, then I can send you there. If I don't know for sure that you have some, impending imminent death or threat in this other country, then I could send you there. And I don't have a duty to ask. The judge is saying, well, actually, you do.
All right, so the judge is suspending a decision for 15 days, right? So what happens in that period of time?
Appeal as fast as you can. The Trump administration will want to get this back in front of the Supreme Court. So they'll sidestep any appellate court and try to get it in front of them on an emergency basis. But even if the Supreme Court ultimately rules against this judge again, it still has to go in this court. He has to get a final ruling, some final determination. And so that's what's problematic. That's why he's giving them this 15 days to go ahead and do your appeal. But his argument is based on a number of things that are crystal clear. First of all, lack of due process. You need to make sure that it purports what Congress has put in place for the due process rules. Second, on the mystery of assurances. Nobody really knows anything. This is from the judge's opinion about these purported assurances. Who do they come from? What do they cover? Why has the government deemed them credible? How can anyone even know for certain that they exist? And he cited an individual, a Guatemalan man that had protections from being sent back to Guatemala, was sent to Mexico. The very same time, taken from Mexico and sent to Guatemala, the place that the government had already said he cannot go. So what happened to him when he got to Guatemala? He was sexually assaulted. Those are the types of things that the government, this judge is saying, has attempted to try to lie about. He said misled the court, violated court orders, and removed deporting protections for migrants that were supposed to have them. So he's saying you're violating these folks' constitutional rights, the protections of due process that are supposed to be there for everyone. And I think this is probably, for me, the biggest nail in the coffin. The judge says, on the constitutional principles, there are laws in our country, and it's with profound gratitude for the unbelievable luck of being born in the United States of America that this court affirms that no person, and he pauses, in this country, no person in this country, not a U.S. citizen, but the fact that you're in this country may be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process. He said, I don't care if you're an American citizen. Your feet are in this country. You are guaranteed, because of our Constitution, the rights to at least have due process. And that's the part he's saying the United States government right now is not doing.
And not just, Khalif, the due process is what is the main focus here, but this third country thing. If the third country was not even a part of this conversation, if they were just being deported back to their original country, would there be as much of a problem, or is it because they're being sent to countries that have nothing to do with where they're from?
Two parts. I think that brings the argument a little bit more convoluted. It's like, why are you sending them to these countries like Costa Rica, Panama, Rwanda that the American government has made these agreements with? But I think we'd still be here if you attempted to send them to their home country. Why? Because they have fled that home country, come here seeking some type of protection, some asylum from persecution. So if you sent them back there, it would be violation of federal law, international law. It would be probably a bigger concern than this. Sending them to a third country sidesteps the international humanitarian crisis that you would have for sending, people that were seeking asylum back to where they were being persecuted.
What if you don't seek asylum? What if there's a person who hasn't done that? Does that apply to them as well?
I think for this category of cases, most of the people that we're talking about are individuals that are coming here and they are asking to be protected because they fear death, because either themselves or their family would die if they go back to their home country. There is an outside class and another way to come here to this country if you're not seeking the asylum from persecution. But in this specific category, they're saying, look, if I go back there, I won't make it back. I won't be alive. And so those protections are there in place. Constitutionally, we're supposed to ask those questions. And these individuals, they're not attorneys. They don't know the law. The judge is saying the obligation is on you, government, to ensure that you do everything in your power to make sure you're not sending someone back that can ultimately die.
All right, we'll see if the president appeals in this 15-day pause window. Khalif, thank you very much. Another topic coming up with him coming up at 9.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.